Does it sometimes feel like everything that can go wrong is going wrong in your life? I know when it happens, it can feel like a really dark place. And as entrepreneurs, it can be really exacerbated because you have no safety net to fall on. And it can be easy to think that maybe you need to give up, or that you're just not cut out for it, or you need to go get a job. If you've ever felt that way, or you are feeling that way and wondering how you can succeed against the odds, then today's interview is for you, because I know when we're done, you will have a whole new vision for your dream. Hey there, I'm Nafissa Shireen, success coach and business strategist for entrepreneurs, and welcome to Living Forward TV, where we help you to create a thriving business you absolutely love all around your personal freedom. Today, we have a very special guest, my friend and colleague, Francesca Anastasi, also known as Sabea. And while she's an incredibly accomplished businesswoman, it didn't start out that way. Her story is so inspiring, and she really shows that no matter what life throws at you, if you make up your mind to succeed, you'll be unstoppable. You're going to want to watch right till the end, because I know that no matter where you are in life, you're going to find the nuggets that you need to power through to your dream. Francesca is the founder and director of Confidence Institute, where she offers business and personal development programs. And she's also the creator of two really cool events, the international charity event called Shimmy Mob, and she's also the creator of the Magnificent You Women's Conference. And she has her own podcast and YouTube show as well, which I'm also privileged to be a guest on. And I'm going to link to it below the episode today. Francesca, welcome to Living Forward TV.
Thank you, Nafissa, for having me here.
I'm so excited to have you here. I know there's so much to your story that's really going to provide a lot of inspiration to our viewers, because I know that as entrepreneurs, as we said in the opening credits, sometimes things can just all go wrong. And it can be so easy to bury your head in the sand and think, I can't do it. And you have really proven that, no matter what life throws at you, you can not only do it, you can just catapult and thrive. And so I'm really excited to have you here, and I'm dying to get into your story. But before we do, I want to ask you the one question I ask all our guests, and that is, what does living forward mean to you?
To me, living forward means having a purpose, not being stuck in the past, and having a purpose big enough that is the driving force to do things to fulfill that purpose, to get to that purpose and live it.
And you really have, right?
I do my best. I try.
I find your story so inspiring. Now, I'm familiar with it because we've interviewed before and we've talked before, but I know our viewers haven't. And I'm wondering if you would be willing to share, like, how you started your entrepreneurial journey.
My entrepreneurial journey started out of disaster, pretty much, what you can call tragedy, I guess. And not in a million years would I have ever thought growing up and even in my adulthood that I would ever be an entrepreneur and have my own business. What happened was I was going through a divorce, and I hadn't really had a job. I was one of those stay-at-home moms. I fiddled around with a few things, but I didn't really have a career of any sort. And while I was going through the divorce, I lost everything in the place where I was living. I was living in a basement suite, and someone decided to set fire to the place where I was living there. And my landlord died in that fire, so it was quite an extreme fire. And 10 days after that, my company basically laid everybody off because it was ended up folding, and I couldn't find work. After that, it was a quest for finding a job, because I didn't have legal bills. I didn't have insurance for the things that I lost, because I didn't have a big income, because I didn't have a career. So it was just any job that could pay, the day-to-day stuff. And
you had a young child too,
yes,
right?
Yes, she was pretty young. She was, I keep saying it was 9, but she was actually around 10 at that time. And basically, I was going to job interview after job interview after job interview, and it was either you're too qualified. I don't know how it could have been, but it was either you're too qualified or underqualified, or they're not the right fit. And after you do this for the whole period of your unemployment insurance, and then you're coming to the end of that, and I go, now what? And then 9/11 happened right at the end of my unemployment insurance, and the interview stopped because the mood was so dark at that time that the companies were not even hiring. It just, everything got quiet. I don't know if you remember that time.
Oh, yeah.
It was pretty, everybody was kind of on this very reflective mode, not in a hiring mode. And here I'm like, I need to put food on the table. and I have a child to support. And at the time, I wasn't getting child support, so it was totally on me. And so I decided that if nobody's going to hire me, then I have to create a job for myself. And the only way to do that is start my own business. So, and that's what happened. So that's how I became an entrepreneur. It was kind of out of desperation, not out of inspiration.
Well, and I love what you've said, and I've also heard you use the expression, so if no one's going to hire me, I'm going to hire myself. And I love that. And for our viewers today, I really want you to take that to heart, because despite everything that was happening, what I haven't heard in any of that is a victim narrative. It's like, okay, I'm going to take control here. I don't know what to do, and I'm still going to take control. And I think that's so inspiring, because it will really help others who might be feeling like everything's out of my control. You brought it back to taking control, and I love that.
Yeah, and you know what? I think you bring that up because it's a very important point in a lot of the messaging that I like to bring when I speak, and that is that up to that point when I got that phone call, because I wasn't home when the fire happened, I was away, and my friend called me and she said, "I have bad, just said, can you sit down? Because I have some news for you." And I'm like, "Come on." She's like, "No, this is really bad. You really need to sit down." And up to that point, I was one of those people, very common, feeling sorry for myself for everything that was happening to me. Why me? Why everything, why nothing good happens to me? And so I always played that victim role. But something happened with that phone call where I remember holding that phone and just thinking, okay, I can feel sorry for myself right now. Like, this is just like the ultimate, right? I hadn't lost my job yet. This was just the home at this point. And all of a sudden, I kind of picture myself down the road collecting welfare. And I was like, no, I can't do that. It was just like, that is not what I want my future to look like. I have to do something different. I'm going to have to face this in a completely different way, something that I don't know how. I don't know how I'm going to do it, but I know that that's not the direction. And if I play the victim, that's where I'm going to end up. And so I'm going to embrace this other way, which I had no idea what it would look like. It was totally blank. But I knew what that looked like, and it was not pretty.
Yeah. And so you made a decision.
Yes, exactly. It was all about decisions, and it was the best thing I ever did, was deciding not to be a victim before becoming an entrepreneur.
Which is really cool. And so, you made that choice to start your own business. You opened a dance studio.
I did.
And so was that an idea that you had, or had you always been in dance? Like, how did you bring that to fruition?
Okay, so I always loved dancing since I was a little girl, and my parents could never put me into dance classes for various reasons. The main reason, they didn't have the finances. So I actually started my dance training as an adult. So when it came to when the whole divorce happened, at that time I was taking more lessons. I was training for myself just because I enjoyed it, and I was on the good side of the instructors. So I was helping different instructors running their classes.
Okay.
And so it just seems like the natural thing. It's something I love. I decided if I was going to be starting a business, it would have to be something I totally enjoyed. And I knew that there would be a lot of other women like me out there that would want to learn how to dance, even though they missed out when they were children. So I thought, yeah, I have a market. I knew I had a market.
Again, that is just so cool, right? Yeah. Because you took something you loved, you found a need, you also approached it from being your own ideal client, right? Like
I did.
Right? Because this was something you wanted to do, and were there other women out there that would want to dance? And I can remember sometimes looking for dance things, and there maybe wasn't as an adult. It was all for kids, right? So, I just love that. And I hope you're really taking this to heart. Francesca looked at what she wanted to do, looked at what she wished existed for herself, and then created it. And I think that's really cool. So did it all go smoothly?
No.
Open your studio?
No. And I think you may know this part of the story, but once I decided that I was going to start a business and have my own business, I took a self-employment program. And, I learned everything. They teach you everything. You create a business plan. You present your business plan. You learn about marketing. You learn about sales. And I was so happy. I did everything by the book. And I opened the studio, opened the doors, and nobody came. Not one single soul showed up. And I was like, what happened? What did I do wrong? I did everything by the book. why don't I have people here? And I could have easily, said to myself, okay, this is wrong. It's the wrong business. And some people had suggested that I should go and be a dance stripper, make money that way, which is not something that aligns with me. No criticism to people who feel comfortable about doing it, but that it's just not something I would feel good about. I was like, no, that's not what I'm going to do. And I'm just going to have to figure it out. I have to find a way to make this work. So I gave it no option. I had to find a way to make it work so that people would know where I was more. Like I had to really create the visibility, and that's what I realized, that I did everything, but I did not create enough visibility.
So how did you create visibility for yourself then?
Because I was broke too, right? So I really took a major leap of faith. I took my credit card and I maxed it out, and I put 100% of all that I had on my credit card into printing flyers, but I was very strategic about what was in those flyers and mailing them out strategically in the homes that I wanted to reach, the kind of the demographics that I wanted to reach, and sold out. So this was in April, nobody came, and in September sold out every class I had.
And I just want to pause you here for 1 second, and I'm really hoping that you're getting the nuggets here. There is so much. Like the first one was creating a business based on something she would love to do and would have loved to have been a consumer at. The second one was just saying there's no option but success. And I love that. I mean, I think as entrepreneurs, we've all had launches that fail and bomb, whether, it's online or live, and it hurts. It really hurts at your heart when that happens. But it's not a reason to give up. And I love that. And the third thing was Francesca took a risk. She knew that she had something that would work. And so she invested in her business and herself, and then had a full studio.
Now I had a full studio, and it was, sold out all the classes, and I just kept growing from there. So I ran, I had it for 10 years, so I decided to change direction and do what I'm doing now. But if I may, can I share a little story? It's actually a joke back in Italy, but I think it just kind of portrays how sometimes we give up just before, they say before the miracle happens. And the story goes like these two prisoners are escaping from prison, and they know they have to climb these walls, and there are 100 walls that they have to climb, but they don't know that there are 100. So they're climbing these walls, and as they go wall after wall after wall, at the 99th one looks at the other and says, I'm just tired, let's just go back. Not knowing that all it would take would be just that one more.
Yeah.
Right. And I think that a lot of people in business they cut themselves short. They don't give it all the options, and they're not open to hearing other options. They feel they've done it all when they really haven't. They've done all all they know of, but they haven't really done all that is possible.
And that's when you get the help from
somebody. And that's when you get the help. You need that perspective from someone else, right? Because you can't see everything when you're in it.
So tell me, Francesca, how you went from running a dance studio to doing what you're doing now, because I know you teach you were teaching other people how to run dance studios. You've expanded that. You've got an international event every year raising money for charity, Shimmy Mob. And that's where I met you, because I remember you standing up and saying this thing about Shimmy Mob. I'm like, that sounds really cool. What is that, right? And you're putting on this, like one of the biggest women's conferences in Vancouver. That's a long way from losing everything.
Yes, it is a long way.
So let's talk about how you got there from the dance studio. What made you shift and start to expand and do other things?
Well, the dance studio, there were both women and men as students, but the majority were women. And the studio became like a second home to a lot of those women. And even though it was a dance studio and we had the dance fitness, there were a lot of conversations that were happening before class, after class, during class. And there were these common topics that kept popping up, these issues, women issues, things that women deal with. And throughout the time that I had the studio, I always thought I should do a workshop on this topic. I should bring somebody in for this other topic. And anyway, so that was always there. And when I closed the studio, I still wanted to continue with the business consulting and the training, but that still nagged at me. I got to do something more than just that. And so the whole idea is like, you know what, it just needs to be a conference because it's the only way that I can bring all those topics together under one roof and the way that I would like to present it. And I use the same method as I did with the studio is this is the conference that I wish was there for me.
Okay.
And so that's how the conference came. That's how it started.
And you were prepping it for a couple of years. There was a lot of work that went into this conference.
In my head, I think it was 7 years.
Okay.
Just as a thought. And then it was 2 years in the mind, but I started talking about it 2 years in advance that I was going to do this. And here's the thing, because when you're doing something that is new and is big, so this is for your audience, sometimes you'll have people doubt you because you haven't established that credibility for something that may be big.
Yeah.
Right? To me, the conference was big. And I had people like literally to my face saying, well, who are you to do a conference?
Wow.
But you don't have the background to do a conference. Like, why do you think you're going to be good at this? Don't you think this is going to flop?
And how did you handle that? Because it's hard enough to deal with your own voice. Saying, who are you to do
and
this,
I did
right?
have my own voice. Just so you know, I did have my own voice. I had many times where I got to the point where this is so big. What if people don't show up? What if then it's going to look terrible and then my reputation is going to go down the line? And I had all those voices and I was like, well, I could just cancel everything, come up with some excuse and say that, and just cancel. And then I thought, why did you want to do this in the first place, Francesca? What was the reason? And that was the purpose. And it got me out of that. Suck it up and do it anyway. Even if one person shows up, you will help that one person. So that was the drive for that. And how did I handle people being negative? It was basically saying, well, I know what I'm doing. I know what I'm capable of. If people show up. If they don't. But I know what I'm capable of, and I can't let someone else interfere with that.
It really was an amazing conference.
Thank you.
And it was full, and I was there, and the women were everyone was buzzing with excitement and purpose and fulfillment, and the speakers were amazing, and I saw all these women being lifted up by being there, and it was, seeing you on stage, knowing that you did it, and it was so cool to see that. How did that feel when you got up on stage?
Well, that first day, that morning, I don't know if you were quite there at that moment when I first got on the stage the first day. I thought I would just talk, and I got emotional. I started crying, and I said to everyone, I don't know why, but I'm emotional because it was something that I guess I had put so much thought behind it, and it just meant so much to me. And it's important to me that people get something out of it. It's not about me. And the whole conference is not about me because that's why we have the speakers. And it's about being able to help someone else that may be in a situation similar or different, but the feelings are the same. When you're going through a struggle, sometimes it feels like you can never get out of it. It just feels like it's bigger than life and that you'll never be able to get through it. And the whole purpose is like, you can. That's the reason.
It was really awesome. And so there's something I've been wanting to ask you.
Oh.
So you said that it was a one-time thing.
I did.
It was a one-time conference.
I did.
And a little birdie told me that there's another one coming up.
There is another one coming up.
So what made you change your mind and to do this again?
It was supposed to be a one-time event. And I said it and I announced it that take this one because it'll never happen again. And I remember on day 2, the speakers cornered me literally. They put me in the corner. You have to do this again. And I said, but that's not the plan. I know you have to do this again. Just look at the lives you've changed. Look at the reaction. And I'm like, I have to think about it. So I still said no, I was not going to do it. And I thought about it and I kept thinking, no, I don't know. So I am doing it again. But it will be different. It won't be exactly the same. So the focus will be a little shifted more towards entrepreneurship. So it is about unleashing a business. That's the theme for the next one. The first one was on mindset because without that, you have nothing.
Yeah, I agree.
So to me, the two are one. Like you can't be successful without a proper mindset. So they kind of marry each other. So.
Would you mind telling our viewers when the conference is?
Oh, the conference is going to be on March 24th, Saturday, March 24th, 2018.
Perfect.
So,
and tickets are available.
The tickets are available. Right? Yeah. You can go online to mywomensconference.com. So bring them in.
And we're going to put a link below this video to make it really easy for you. Check it out. And even if you have to travel to get to Vancouver, get your butt here and get to this conference. It is amazing. So I'm really excited that you're bringing it back to Vancouver. Now, what is your hope for this conference? What the attendees can take away? I remember on the last one you had talked about it having the one thing that can change everything. And I'm hoping too that with our interview today that there's things our viewers can take away that is the one thing that can change everything. And I'm curious with your intention for the one coming up, is that the same or is there another theme that you have?
It is the same because the theme is different, because the theme is business this time. The way I'm tailoring it is so that no matter what your business is, there are going to be so many different topics that my hope is that not one single person leaves without something that they can really implement right away in their business to move it forward and live it forward through your business. Live forward through your business.
Perfect.
Yeah,
I'm really excited for it. Well, that's really cool, and I just think that is so inspiring. You know, because when you got that phone call that your home had burnt down, did you ever imagine you'd be holding? I mean, not just one, but two major conferences that get media, news attention, all of that?
No, I had no clue. I didn't even know I was going to have a dance studio. And actually, before I even opened the dance studio, I thought I was going to go into image consulting because I did have a certification on image consulting, and then changed my mind. But yeah. So it was like, I'll be doing image consulting. That's what I'll do. And I started doing my plan and all that. And then it was just like that. And so I'm like, no, in dance studio. I'm like, where'd that come from? Like it kind of switched that way.
I mean, you have to listen to that calling, right? In your spirit and your soul.
Yeah.
Now, we didn't touch on something also really cool that you do, and that's Shimmy Mob.
Shimmy Mob, yes.
Could you tell our viewers a little bit about Shimmy Mob? Because I think that's just so incredible. It's all over the world, and it
is all over the world. It's funny amazing. Because that started as a one-time event too. So that started when I had the studio, and I decided to bring together some teachers from different studios and do flash mobs and just around the Lower Mainland so that we could dance, show.
And I'll just pause. That's what we refer to Vancouver, just the area. The urban Vancouver we call the Lower Mainland.
Right. Sorry. And then what happened was, as we were preparing to do these flash mobs, the point was to raise awareness and funds for...
And it was flash mobs of belly dancing.
Flash mobs of belly dance. And to bring awareness and raise funds for shelters that give aid to victims of abuse. And before I knew it, it spread all over the world. So on that first year, we had 35 locations instead of just a few here.
In the first year?
In the first year.
You like to go big when you do things.
I didn't try to make it big, but it did. It did. And now we've surpassed over 200 locations, and it is worldwide. It happens every year on the second Saturday of May, and anybody can participate. We have husbands that participate, we have children that participate, we have friends that participate, and the whole point is to bring the awareness of where the shelters are, the local shelters, as well as a new section that I've added to it is bringing awareness of what abuse really is outside of physical violence, because we all know about sexual abuse and physical abuse, but there's a lot more to abuse that is not understood or perceived as such, which is as devastating, if not more. So trying to bring that awareness so you can prevent getting to the place where you get physically abused and physically abused.
And so we're also going to put a link to Shimmy Mob below this video too, because I think that's something you'll want to check out and be part of it. I mean, it's a worldwide event. So
yeah, and you don't have to know how to belly dance to join. It's made for anybody to join.
It would be I think it'd be a lot of fun. Flash mob belly dancing.
We can get you next time.
I know. I'm a little shy about shaking my hips, but I'd love to try it. So Francesca, tell me how you work with people and how you help your clients.
I like to mentor my clients. I don't like to call myself a coach. I'm more of a consultant when it comes to looking at a business and breaking it apart and really creating strategies for that specific business. Sometimes it's the business that needs a strategy. Sometimes it's the person. Sometimes it's both. And so I like to do that. I work with women. That is my heart. That's where my heart is, because I think women undervalue themselves. They don't see their potential, and I do. And I tend to be. I'm a visionary, as you can see, and I have visions for my clients. So when they don't have the vision, I help them find one for them. So mentorship and one-on-one, that's where my heart is right now.
And so how can people find you? We're going to have links to your events, but if they want to find out more about you, what you do, what your services are, where can they find you?
You can go to my website, francescaanastasi.com, and there you can see everything I do.
And we'll link to that below as well.
It's just my name.
Yeah, and check her out. I mean, she's amazing, and I'm so glad that you came here today. Now, before we conclude, I was hoping that there's something that if you could tell our viewers today, for that one woman who might be sitting there thinking that everything's going wrong and I don't know how to pull my head out. I don't know how to succeed because everything's against me. What's the one thing you could tell her to do today that would really make a difference for her?
I would say where you are right now is only temporary, and knowing that fact, just find a big goal to work towards, because that's what will pull you out of where you are now. Even if you're completely broke like I was, whether you're homeless like I was, whether you're jobless like I was, there's nothing that you're bigger than any problem, really. And any help can be just a few clicks away on a computer, or it's just an ask away. Just ask somebody. You're not alone.
Thank you, Francesca. That's really inspiring. I'm really hoping that you were just as inspired as I was today. And if you were, please make sure to like this video, give us a thumbs up, and leave a comment below and tell me what you found most helpful today. And, check out Francesca. I would love for you to go check out her sites and check out the conference. And make sure to tell your friends and share this video, because I think this is a really important message for all women out there and all entrepreneurs out there to know that they can do it. And if you have more questions or need more help, then I'd love to invite you to join me in the Living Forward Facebook community. That's where I come to you live each week on After the Episode and answer your questions about the topics we spoke about here today. And it's also a place where you can network, get daily inspiration, and grow your business. All you have to do to join is go to livingforwardcommunity.com, click the Join Now button, and I'll see you on the inside.